Oh, do I have... No, I should have audio. Um... How's the Splatfest going? Oh, hey, look, halftime. Oh, yeah, my team's in first. Am I? Let's try this, maybe? I know you all have audio. I can see it on the audio bar. Is it just me? Do I not have audio? No, that's correct. Oh, there we go. Okay, I just didn't have audio for some weird reason. I am... Yeah, okay, okay. Weird. So here we are back in Splatoon. It's Splatfest today. Oh boy, Splatfest here again. Just a choice. Team Sweet. So we talked, I think it was a week or two ago. I picked my team. I think it was a week ago. I picked Team Sweet. As you can see, I'm already pretty close to the champion rank. I mean, ruler rank. Right, we're already in champion. I did play a little yesterday. You know, I came out to show my support for Team Sweet. Well, mainly I had an audiobook I wanted to listen to, and I didn't want to just sit there and listen to it. I wanted to, you know, do something while audiobooking. So, yeah, I sat down and supported the team for like 2 hours. Also during that time, I did unlock the locker upgrade. So I did finally hit level 30. So I've got all the weapon. Right, I can now get any weapon I want. And I have the locker upgrade, which can display all the squids. Yay! So yeah, pretty simple locker. You know, I want to do something more creative with it. Like, you see all these creative people's lockers. Not all of them, but some of them. You see all the newbie lockers as well, like people who just joined the game. Silver. I'm so disappointed we did so terrible that big run. Oh, you know what? We'll do that at the end if I remember. Oh, that's a nice locker. That's actually kind of cool. I like all the gold. What can I say? See, they do what I do. The outside is the shinies, and the inside is just the normal weapons. Yeah. I like the squid plushes, though. They're cute. So yeah, I finally hit level 30, so I can now get any weapon I want. Does that mean I will get every weapon I want? Oh, God. And see, I don't remember what level I finished off in Splatoon 2. I could boot up Splatoon 2. Right now, the Golden Salmon run is going on right now. So, in Splatoon 2, and it'll eventually happen in Splatoon. It just hasn't happened yet. But there's a Golden Salmon run that happens usually twice a year. That is nothing but Grizzco weapons, right? They take the most powerful weapons in the game, and it's just a salmon run with those weapons. It's a pretty cool event, you know. I like it. We streamed one last year sometime. At one point last year, yeah, we played, and it was actually my first time ever doing a gold run. But yeah, a gold run is going on right now in Splatoon 2. So if you have Splatoon 2 and you've never done a gold run, I recommend going to do it, because, again, they do not happen all that often. 2-3 times a year. It's not very much. And eventually they will come to Splatoon. I mean, Splatoon doesn't even have all the golden weapons yet. The next random event is adding in the Grizzco Sniper, which is basically just a modified Bamboozler. So yeah, that's getting added in the next random event, which I think is later, which is sometime later this month. So yeah, that's coming up. I still need to play Salmon Run for this month. Yeah, I'll get around to it. So as we try to get into Tricolor Battle here, they did change the rules for Tricolor. So right now, if we were in the first 3 Splatfests, right, normally it's whoever's team is winning by halftime is the team defending in Tricolor. So normally I would be very excited because I've never got to defend during Tricolor so far. Right, my team was always losing at halftime. However, with the Chill Season update, they changed it so now any team can be defense and any team can be offense. Instead, they basically just made Tricolor like ranked mode, right? It's like anyone can play it. Which, I mean, I guess that's better for, you know, people who want to play more Tricolor, but it also does result in a lot of, hey, here's a Tricolor match where you're just playing against 3 of your own teammates, right? 3 people on the same team. I know people in the Splatfest have been having at least when the Splatfest first started, I guess there was nobody on Team Sour, right? Everybody was either on Team Sweet or Team Spicy. When I played, I did not have that problem. So, right, my experience has not been that. I've played against plenty of Team Sweet, I've played against plenty of Team Sour, and I've played against plenty of Team Spicy. So yes, I have played against my own team several times. It's happened more than you'd think. Right now, we're looking to actually do pretty good in the Splatfest. Hopefully. But I do have to win some matches as a defending team. Oh, hey, see, look at this. Our first match, and we've got all 3 of our things. So, I will say... So, yeah, weapon-wise, I tried using the Big Swig roller and was so disappointed. I know Big Swig will never be good because of its subs. Right? Like, its subs will always stop Big Swig from being a good weapon. But even still, its sub and its special, it needs to do more damage. God, I was so disappointed by Big Swig. I was so excited to use it. And then it just... awful. Just awful. I've seen some people have success with it. Not that much, but I've seen some people have some success. But no, I'm so disappointed. It should have been such a cool weapon. I do still hope though we get new. Oh, this guy has no idea what he's doing. Okay, you know what? I'm fine with that. I'm fine with them getting one of the Ultra Signals. Oh. So yeah, so that sucks. Big Swig still sucks. There are a lot of new players. Like, the servers actually went down last night for a little bit. Because there were too many players. Because, you know, there's this thing, and I know you probably didn't see it when I went to the locker room, But when I played this game like 2 or 3 days after Christmas, the locker room was just filled with new lockers. We might have even seen it last week. But yeah, right, because a lot of people picked up this game on Christmas, right? There used to be a Call of Duty term that was like Christmas noob or something like that. I don't know. I kind of fucking hate terms like that, but that was a term that used to be used back in the day. And yeah, I think Call of Duty noobs sound, or right, Christmas noobs sounds correct. So yeah, yeah, there's just a bunch of new players. Honestly, I haven't even tried. I haven't done ranked mode in so long. Like, it really would have been a good time. I mean, I say that, but to be fair, a lot of these Christmas noobs are starting off in in C ranks. So yeah, that wouldn't have really helped. Again, I don't care. I do not care if red wins. I just need yellow to lose. Oh, we won. Anyways. Neato. Oh, and my taunt is now the dab. Because, you know, I can. Because I can. So, yes. But honestly, I'm still having such a blast with my Game of the Year. Yep. I did officially make this Game of the Year last year. So, yeah, I'm still having a blast with it. And yeah, sitting down, listening to my audiobook, and playing the Splatfest has been a great time. You know, I've been having a great time. I don't know. I know some people really dislike Turf War, and I get it, but you know, there's something I like about its simplicity. And I like the idea of tricolor Turf Wars. I still personally like my idea for 100-player Turf Wars. I think that would be a lot of fun. We'll see if Nintendo actually has the balls to do it. I doubt it. But we'll see. And knowing Nintendo servers, they could never. I know Nintendo got a new server service. Like, I don't know, last year sometime. Because I want to say maybe it was 2 years ago. Because I want to say Mario Party was the first game to have it. They still Nintendo servers. So tonight for In Chat, we have 3 news stories. I mean, I technically had 4, but I really didn't have much to say on Fire Emblem. Like, part of me is actually like, Fire Emblem is a game I really want to play, but I have never played. Yep, see, all Team Sweet. Yeah, Fire Emblem, the only one I've ever played is Awakening, and I've never actually beaten it. So Fire Emblem is a game that, in theory, I really like. But I've just never... In theory, I like it. My big holdback to it, Fire Emblem, has always been permadeath. I've mentioned on several occasions that I do not like permadeath. It's one of my least favorite game mechanics. That has not changed, right? That's why I don't like Nuzlocke. But I know Fire Emblem added a classic mode that got rid of permadeath, which is, in theory, really cool. The problem, though, and this is the Fire Emblem community, that they don't, even though they added this mode for, you know, people like me who don't like permadeath, Fire Emblem fans are like, oh, if you play classic mode or whatever it's called, you're not really playing Fire Emblem. Right? There's this very snooty approach to it that, you know, I first felt when I started playing Awakening back in the day. So, yeah, like, it's nothing, like, and I know, right, oh, just play the game the way you want to play it, have fun. But let's just say, right, when Awakening first came out, that kind of turned me off the game. Not when it first came out, when I first played it. Because, yeah, I did not pick up Awakening at launch. I bought a used copy, like, a year after it came out. Oh, they were right there. I had no idea where they were. So, yeah, that kind of always, you know, stirred me off of it. Okay, 1 Ultra Signal is fine. It's 2 where it becomes a problem. Oh, they didn't take the signal. I know, I heard this map sucks. I've heard this map sucks for being the defending. Just in general, that like, oh, this map... Because really, the Tricolor Turf War works good or bad depending on the map. Hammerhead Bridge, not a good map. But whatever the second... The official, like the first ever... Like the demo map, yeah, was Hammerhead Bridge, terrible. But then whatever the first map was... I don't remember. I remember Hammerhead Bridge and that's about it. That was like a much better map. And it really is. Tri-Turf War is map dependent. That's what it all comes down to. At least that's what I've heard anyways. I don't know. It's kind of true. I think it was Hammerhead Bridge. I don't know. This is what, the 4th Splatfest? See, I just don't remember what the second one was. So yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I want, one day I own 3 houses. One day, because I picked it up on sale a few years back. And one day I will play it, just not today, you know? And I'm definitely not picking up and playing the newest one. Right, I'd rather play 3 houses, because that saves me, what, $60? So one of these days. But yeah, we got a new trailer, or we got a new, like, overview trailer for the new Fire Emblem. It looks fine, whatever. So our first actual news story is, so 3DS eShop shuts down, 3DS and Wii U shuts down in March. And with that, there's a lot of great games that are going to be lost because of that. Of course, luckily, a 3DS is very easy to mod, and there are people out there who are going through the efforts of preserving these games, as they should be preserved, right? But one of those games, right, and I'm sure there are other games that are being preserved by their creators and whatnot. But one of those games that we found out is being preserved this week is Pocket Card Jockey. Pocket Card Jockey is a game made by Game Freak, of all companies, you know, the Pokemon people. It's one, because, you know, every once in a while, Game Freak does non-Pokemon stuff. Most recently, there was that one game that Toby Fox did the music for that was garbage. I don't remember what the game was called. Right, but Toby Fox did the music for it. I remember that. Not My Time in Portia. It wasn't Harvestella. I don't remember what it was called. But whatever it was, right, it was this game. But they've done other stuff as well. I want to say they did that. It wasn't called Little Driller. They did some sort of drilling game a few years back. They did, Harmo Knight, which was another 3DS game. That was pretty decent. I liked it well enough. You know, for a rhythm game. I liked it about as well as I could like a rhythm game. But one of the games was called Pocket Card Jockey. It was a solitaire game where you played solitaire, and as you completed suits and completed tricks and whatnot, your horse, like, moved forward on the racetrack. And, you know, so it was a horse racing game, but with a solitaire element. and it was a 3DS game that was a lot of fun. I played it. I loved it. Great game. I do recommend this one. I was trying to defend them, but nope, they just went on by. So yeah, Pocket Card Jockey, really good game. Really good game, and we found out it's going to be coming to Apple Arcade soon. I don't know if we have an exact date, but I want to say it's later this month. Pocket Card Jockey will be coming to Apple Arcade. I do not know if it is coming to Android or iOS, but I do know, or I meant Android, or what? Is there any other? I know there used to be a Microsoft phone, but I know for a fact that it doesn't exist anymore. I do not know if it's coming to Android. I know Android has the Google Play something or other, Google Play Experience. That is technically something different. So yeah, I don't know if it's coming to that. I just know it's coming to Apple Arcade. Which, the fact that it's coming to Apple Arcade means it's not going to be a freemium game. Right? It's not going to be like, it's not going to have, I want to say Apple Arcade games don't have microtransactions or loot boxes. That sounds right to me. Because that was the whole purpose of Apple Arcade, is to make the App Store more respectful. Right? Because, you know, people do not have a very high view of the App Store. It's not, right? Because they see all the guff, all the garbage, all the microtransactions and the loot boxes. So the whole point of Apple Arcade was to, you know, change that perception by, you know, offering a Game Pass style subscription service that actually put good games onto mobile stores. And you had some good stuff in there. I want to say Shovel Knight Puzzle League was on there. I want to say Grindstone was on there. Exit the Gungeon was on there. I think Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon was on there. That sounds right in my head. One of the two, Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon or Shovel Knight Dig. One of the two Shovel Knights was on there. Oh wow, Purple still won. Oh, is that the robot? Huh, I didn't see that one. Cool. So yeah, it's supposed to be, right, it's supposed to make the App Store a more respectable place. Did it succeed in doing that? I don't know. Probably not, actually. Because, right, mobile games are still seen as lowest common denominator. They weren't always, but definitely in recent years they have been. So yeah, most people do not have the highest thoughts on mobile gaming, and rightfully so. There's a lot of fucking garbage on the mobile game market. The Vampire Survivors devs, the reason they were this week, this story came out. The reason why they put the mobile game port out before a lot of the, right, because it's still not on PlayStation, it's still not on Switch. I'm honestly surprised it's on Xbox, Xbox Series X and whatever. Like, it doesn't surprise me that it's on Game Pass PC, right? But they were talking about the reason why they put the mobile game port out first was because there were a bunch of like mobile games trying to like copy them. And basically steal their game, so that's why they put the mobile port out first, right? So that way people could no longer do that. Makes perfect sense. I totally get that. Yeah, okay, that's a very solid reason. But please get the Switch port out there. I really want to play this game on Switch, man. It looks so good. It's so good, and I know I have an Xbox, and I've played it on Xbox, and I've played it on mobile. But there's just something tactile about the Switch that I just can't get on with, you know, that, like, the Xbox is not my casual console. The Xbox is this is the system I use to play fucking High on Life. No, right, that's not what, that and Vampire Survivors do not mesh for me. Whatever. So yeah, Pocket Card Jockey is coming to the Apple Arcade. If you have Apple Arcade, 100%. It is 100% worth your time. It is a pretty good game. I thoroughly enjoyed it on 3DS. Again, I don't think the fact that it's coming to it doesn't make me think they're gonna like mess it up with microtransactions or loot boxes or anything like that. They might, but I don't think they will. I don't think that's the purpose of Apple Arcade. So yeah, it's a good game. I do recommend it. I had a lot, you know, some Game Freak games are very hit and miss, right? The one I can't remember was terrible, but Harmony Knight was pretty decent. This one is good. This one I do thoroughly enjoy, and I do recommend. So yeah, pick up Pocket Card Jockey. Next up, so PlayStation announced their new Project Leo. I was trying to get in there. So Project Leo is PlayStation's answer to the Xbox accessibility controller. So the Xbox accessibility controller was, right, a few years back, Xbox made a controller with the whole point of it being accessibility, right? Anyone can play games, and it had all these, it had larger buttons, it had all these detachables, it had attachables, right? You could add external sources. Hey, Brainless, how you doing? Good to see you. So, right, Xbox made this accessibility controller. A really cool idea. I loved the idea of the Xbox accessibility controller. But it only works on Xbox and PC. You cannot use the Xbox accessibility. One of the things that when, like, making these accessibility controllers, it would make sense to, you know, try to get other companies involved in these controllers. Right? Try to get Sony and Nintendo to work with you to use these controllers. It's been a while. Yeah, it really has been a while. It's good. Hope everything's going well on your end. I know I've been busy myself. Work is taking it out of me. But yeah, so I would, you know, and Reggie Fils-Aimé, of all people, actually talked about this. Because I guess Nintendo, one of the least accessible video game companies, Nintendo does not give a fuck about accessibility. Right? Whether that be the Wii, like things like the Wii's motion controls, Super Mario Odyssey, fucking Metroid Dread, literally its only accessibility feature being that it shows you, it points you in the right direction. I mean, sometimes, right? I make fun of Mario Odyssey for having almost required motion controls. That's not always. Mario Odyssey also has the what's it called? Assist mode, I think it's called. That, you know, takes some steps in the right direction. But it's still definitely, like, it's nothing compared to Sony. Sony is the king of this accessibility stuff. Even Ubisoft, a really shitty company, isn't that bad at it, right? Even Ubisoft does some good accessibility stuff. Nintendo, no. But Reggie Fils-Aimé said that when he was still president of the company, he was working on an accessibility controller, right? Wow, we won that? Huh, neat. Right, Nintendo was working on an accessibility controller, and as part of it, they were trying to make it multi-platform, right? You could use the Nintendo accessibility controller on Xbox, you could use it on PlayStation, you could use it on PC. A really cool idea. And I'm assuming that's why we've never heard anything about it since then, is because that plan ended up falling through. I really do wish they would do it still. Because, yeah, anybody... Like, that's one of the great things about games. Is, right, games, especially in these past few years, have gotten more accessible than ever before. Within the games themselves. But accessibility controllers, right, the Xbox accessibility controller has done wonders. And I really do think Nintendo should, yeah. I hope they're still doing it. But, right, so the Microsoft controller doesn't work on anything else other than Xbox and PC. And Nintendo never put out one. So Sony now has come out, because, right, they're really good at accessibility in their games. Whether it be, right, God of War, The Last of Us, they've gotten really good at it. And now they're making an accessibility controller. It's called Project Leo at the moment. And yeah, it's an accessibility controller that, right, it's like, you see the version of it, it's like this circle, and it's got a joystick that you can, like, extend, like, how close it is. I want to say it's got, like, you can, like, attach extra buttons into it, it looks like. It looks like it has, like, audio. they're not audio inputs, but it's something similar to that, right? It's got these extra inputs. And yeah, it's definitely a good step. It is also not going to be working on any other system, right? It's not going to work on PC. It's not going to work on, or it's not going to work on PC. It's probably not going to work on, I mean, it might work on PC. You never know. But it's definitely not going to work on Xbox, and it's definitely not going to work on Switch. So yeah, again, I think that's a good idea that is definitely a lot harder to execute. And I bet behind the scenes, Microsoft did try to work something out. That right, behind the scenes, Xbox did try to get Nintendo and PlayStation to add their controller, and they both said no. Nintendo was probably started working on their own, and I bet even Sony was working on their own in the background after that. But yeah, it definitely, I like the idea of, right, this unified format. Right, that there's this accessibility controller, that people can, right, that people who need it can use it, and no matter what system you are on, it works. That's a fantastic idea. And yeah, I give all the credit to Microsoft for, right, they were the ones who took the initiative forward, and I've heard it actually works really well. Xbox is actually pretty good with controllers. Right? Even though I've never used an Xbox Elite controller. I've heard nothing but good things about them. And then yeah, same thing with the accessibility. I've heard, I saw a demo somewhere. It was at a convention or something. It must have been at like a convention or something. I saw someone demo, right, use an accessibility controller. Where was that? Was it at the university? At some point, I've seen somebody use one. That's what I'm trying to get to. Because yeah, they are really useful things. But yeah, I don't have all the details. Right, the PlayStation 1, we don't have all the details. But they put this out. They put out, right, the report that this is coming. They showed off what it looks like. I don't know if we know when it's coming out. I'll double check one thing, because I really should put up Laura K. Dale's post on it, because they're the expert in these things. Right, like they put out more details than most others. So I'll pull that up here in a minute. Right, they run an entire show called Accessibility, which I do recommend. It's a pretty decent show. Accessibility. They talk about some very interesting concepts that, you know, I never think about, but like because I don't need them. But it really has given me an appreciation for these kinds of things. Oh, boom, we got the badge 4. That's what I've been waiting for. Okay. Let me see. Can I find it? It was in here somewhere. Okay, quick-fire thoughts on the RE PlayStation Accessibility Controller. Super glad it supports 3.5mm peripherals, large face buttons included for so many controller inputs, not just the A and B. Seems a stealth announcement to Copilot support for system-wide, which is great. It's a shame it's proprietary, which means, right, it only works on PlayStation. In theory, it'll work on PC. Right, because I'm pretty sure with the right, like, adapter, you can make the Microsoft controller work on PC or on Switch. Right, you can trick the Microsoft controller into working on Switch. At least I remember reading a story about that at some point. Okay, this is an all sweep back. But yeah, either way, alright, I'm all aboard for these accessibility functions, right? I'm all aboard when games do it. Nintendo needs to step up their fucking game. They are terrible at accessibility. right? For the company that's like fun for the whole family, Nintendo is terrible at accessibility. And it's because of their desire for innovation, right? That because Nintendo's always trying to do like the next crazy thing, it comes at the cost of, right, well, not everyone can use that like software, right? I know, like, oh, I remember, like, there was all those stories back in the day about, like, grandparents using Wii, like, the Wiimote. But, like, what about, right, not everybody is going to be able to, like, shake a controller like that. Right, not everyone's going to have the same flexibility as, right, what is needed to use a Wiimote. So, yeah, I get... And, right, you see that with games like Donkey Kong Country Returns, where you had to shake the Wiimote to, like, make the character, like, roll. And it was just, like, you had to shake it so many times. It became, like, the 3DS version fixed it, but still. Right? And then there's, like, no option to turn it off or anything. I know this was during the Wii era, and we've come a long way since then. But Nintendo still does shit like that every once in a while. Right, Mario Odyssey specifically has a few moons that you have to shake the controller to get. You can't get them any other way. That kind of sucks. No, we're not. So yeah, it's just, I think this is a really cool thing. It sucks it's propriety. You know, I'd love to see these companies get together and, right, find a solution that allowed you to use, no matter if you're buying PlayStation or Xbox's controller, it works no matter which system you are, right? Like, I'm sure some people would have a preference. Maybe they'll like this PlayStation controller more than the Xbox One. Maybe because of its different shape and whatnot, it tackles different needs, or, you know, I'm sure there's some people will have a preference. So the idea of being able to use different controllers on different systems is a good thing, right? You find one accessibility setup that works really well for you, and then no matter what system you're using, you can do it. We'll see. I don't know, with how much Microsoft and PlayStation are fighting right now. Yeah, there was a whole quote that came out this week from, I think it was Phil Spencer, about, like, oh, Sony is trying to grow by making Xbox grow less? What the fuck are you talking about, Phil? Ah. It was worth a shot. Yeah, what the... Like, so no, Sony doesn't want you to buy Activision, because that's gonna hurt them overall, right? Because, yeah, no, Call of Duty fucking sells systems. I get why they don't want you to have it. And, you know, Sony doesn't care about the monopoly aspect. I do, but... yeah. Whatever. So our last news story relating to Xbox is that they put out Xbox Bethesda put out a statement saying that Starfield is still coming out the first quarter of the year. Or the first half of the year. So presumably before June. Or presumably by June. Which, you know, makes sense. I think they had said they were doing it. It makes sense that, right, that's still the case. That, hey, we're still getting Starfield. I would, you know, it's... I know I had some pretty... When I predicted 2023, I had some pretty negative predictions. And I still definitely stand by those. But, you know, it might be fun. It might be. You know, Bethesda's come a long way from making guns that can't shoot and instead just spawn bullets in front of the player and then point them in the direction where the player was shooting. Right? We've come a long way since then. But, you know, some things never change. And Bethesda's games being janky, yeah, I don't expect that to be one of them. Even though there was a report that came out this week that people have been playtesting the game, and they do have a very positive experience of it. That playtesters have been having a good time with Starfield. So yeah, you know, again, you can have a janky game and still have it be fun. Skyrim, a very janky game, still fun. Scarlet and Violet, a pretty janky game, still fun. So I believe, right, you could have a good game and still have it be fun. We'll just see if they actually pull it off. Ooh, 1.5 bonus. Interesting. But yeah, I'm interested in Starfield. Definitely. Mainly because of Game Pass. Honestly, like, I don't know if, like, I didn't pick up Fallout 4 at launch. I picked up Fallout 4 years later. Right? I definitely didn't pick it up at launch. But, like, the idea that, right, oh, well, Game Pass, right? Oh, I just get a month of Game Pass. Instead of buying a $60 game, I buy a, right, however much a month of Game Pass is. And boom, that gets me all the game I need. That gets me the entire thing. And hey, if there's anything else I want to play at Game Pass around the time it comes out, yeah, that's great. So yeah, that really helps me out with, right, being more willing to pick it up. Not that I, like, think, again, I still think it's going to be interesting. It just means I'm more likely to play it. Yeah. If I an actual release date prediction, if they're saying the first 6 months of the year, I don't think it's going to come out in May. I definitely do think that May is Breath of the Wild's time. Right, they've kind of got... I know, right, like, games don't own a month, right? But if Breath of the Wild is coming out at the end of May, you either have to get it out at the beginning of May, or you get it out around E3. Or, you know, whatever, Summer Games Fest, whatever we're doing this year. That probably makes more sense, honestly. Is right to get it out around then. Give Breath of the Wild a month to, like, do whatever it's gonna do, take over the market, all that jazz. And then you take over the market for a month. I mean, that's usually how you try to work it. But again, Nintendo plays in different spaces. Right? Xbox has even said as much, right? That they don't view Nintendo as competition because Nintendo doesn't make video games TM for video gamers TM. They instead make toys. And that's how... And Nintendo would say the same thing about themselves. They make toys that are very fun, that anyone can play. Yes, they're making games, definitely. And they're making games that gamers TM really like. But they are also making toys. So, I guess that's just my thought on it. Right? Because Microsoft definitely doesn't view Nintendo as competition. And Nintendo doesn't view themselves as competing in the gaming industry either. So yeah, because, you know, if they want to be like, hey, guess what, we're putting out Starfield right now. And then, you know, right, if you're playing Breath of the Wild, but then you want to play Starfield as well, right, because you don't have a Switch, then you can do that as well. Kind of like, this definitely is more like releasing one. But God of War came out at the beginning of November, so if you had a PlayStation, you're playing that. And then later on in the month, hey, Pokemon came out, so if you have a Switch, you're playing that. That's your games for November, depending on... Right, and then Xbox people existed. And then I'm not too worried about, like, oh, well, we haven't seen too much from the game. I mean, again, Breath of the Wild comes out in a little over 100 days. I don't remember the exact amount of time. But Breath of the Wild comes out in, yeah, like 100-ish days, something like that. It's more than that. It's like 120-something. And we literally know more about Starfield than we do Breath of the Wild. Yep. Yeah, so yeah, I'm not worried about that at all. They'll put out stuff. And, you know, I kind of like smaller development cycles. Or smaller press cycles. Not development. Development cycles definitely need to be smaller. Like, Jason Schreier was pointing out... I think it was Jason Schreier. Was pointing out that if, let's say, a studio like Bethesda started making a new game today, it would likely release. Let's say they were making a new PS5 game. Just again, hypotheticals here. Let's say Bethesda started making a new game for for PlayStation. It would not release until the PS6. That's how long development cycles in video games have gone. Of course, my response is, they shouldn't be that fucking long. You know, maybe working these employees to death isn't a good thing. I'm fine with lesser graphics and lesser of all this shit. If, like, that's fine, right? Not everything needs to be the most amazing thing ever. Sometimes you can do that, right? James Cameron's Avatar clearly shows that sometimes people do give a shit about that and will give money to that. But that's because it's James Cameron's Avatar. Not every game needs to be fucking James Cameron's Avatar. You can have smaller games doing smaller things, but what the fuck? The AAA game industry is absolutely fucked. Oh god. So yeah, that's all the news I got for today. You know, it ain't much. It's technically, I mean, you can tell, oh, Christmas is over, because right now we're getting into all this stuff. Right? The news has already picked up post-Christmas. Yeah. So what have I been enjoying? What's the first WIBE of the year? Because yeah, we are in. I didn't say this at the top of the show, and I meant to. I got distracted by whatever we were talking about. This is season 4, right? We've officially started season 4 of In Chat. In Chat is a yearly show. And yeah, we're in technically the first season of the new season. Of course, did the previous season break the record for the most episodes in a season? I think so. I'm at 40 episodes, I want to say the previous record was in like the 30-somethings. Because I don't count two-parters, because technically those were one stream that got broken up into 2 videos due to a crash or something. So technically, okay, I did not mean to grab the ultra signal. So yeah, so what have I been enjoying? Well, I guess let's start off with games. So, let's start off with the smaller one first, the one I give less of a shit about, just because I only started playing it today. Planet Coaster. So I've been, I talked during the Game of the Year list last year, or during the, all that stuff last week, about how I've been watching people like Let's Game It Out, right? His whole thing is, like, causing chaos in video games. And I've kind of been like, you know, I kind of want to play, like, a Planet Coaster, or a, not Planet Zoo, I don't really care about Planet Zoo, or whatever it's called. What's the city one? City Skylines? I've been wanting to play a game like that. And technically I owned both of them because of PlayStation. Planet Coaster was a PlayStation Plus game like 3 months ago, and City Skylines was a PS Plus game like a year ago. So I technically owned both of them. And I was like, yeah, I kind of want to play one of these games, you know? Maybe I'll, so I looked through, and I was like, you know, let's play I used to love Roller Coaster Tycoon back in the day. Haven't played it in years, but I used to really like that game. Let's play Planet Coaster. So I booted up Planet Coaster, I did the tutorial, and then I started on the career mode, which is just like, I'm just going to do some of the career mode stuff. I'll eventually open up a sandbox and just make whatever. Part of me wants the career mode to just be like, hey, you've got a small budget, make a theme park. Instead, the career mode at the moment seems to be like, oh, you're starting off with somebody else's park who, like, just started, now make it a good park. And I don't entirely love that. I mean, I guess it's fine, but it's not entirely what I'm looking for, and I know Sandbox isn't either. I'm pretty sure City Skylines doesn't have that problem. I'm pretty sure the story mode in City Skylines is like, hey, you only have so much money to do certain things, but yeah. And to be fair, that's how I remember some of the, like, I want to say Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 worked the exact same way, where it was like, hey, you've got so much, right, here's somebody else's park, fix it. So yeah. So I literally just booted up Planet Coaster. It's fine. You know, I think the controls, I'm playing it on PS5. PS5 controls work fine. You know, I haven't really had any problems with it. You keep having to press circle a bunch in the menus. Because, right, you move your camera around with the sticks, and then you navigate the menus with the D-pad. And sometimes I forget, and, like, you have to press circle a bunch to, like, go back into the menus, to go back a bunch. I kind of wish the paths were more, like, drag and drop, and less like, oh, you have to set the path to, like, a certain limit to, like, do certain things. Also, like, moving around, like, certain structures, you can't just, like, hit a button to be like, oh, well, I want to move it on the x-axis. Now I won't hit the button, now I can move it on the y-axis. I hit the button again, now I can move it on the z-axis. Nope, you can't do that. It takes just a few more seconds. At least not that there might be a button that quick tracks it, but I haven't noticed that yet, if there is. So yeah, it's the little things. But, you know, it's a console port of a game that's clearly a PC thing. And I mean, I already own the game on PlayStation, so I was like, what's the point of me buying on PC besides for, you know, mods? Which, I get mods, right? Mods are a pretty actually decent reason. I know Open and Roller Coaster Tycoon was like a huge thing. You guys suck. I mean, I know I was dead, but still. We suck. We're in so much trouble here. I should try a different weapon. Yeah, we suck. We're in so much trouble. Not giving up, but I can tell you the fact that we lost both Ultra Signals means we've lost. So yeah, Planet Coast, you know, I literally just started playing. Again, I have an audiobook I want to listen to. I put a few hours into, like, 2 hours into Splatoon while listening to it. But the audiobook is like 11 hours. So that's 2 hours, and I'm like 4 hours in. Okay, I'm not 4 hours in, I think 3 hours in. But still, maybe 3.5. So yeah, I put some time into Planet Coaster. Just real quick, I'll definitely be playing more of it. But yeah. And to be fair, part of the time I put into Planet Coaster, I was actually listening to the tutorial of the game. Because it is completely voice acted. Which okay, I'm going to go off on a voice acting tangent real quick. Nothing to do with Planet Coaster. But, so one of my complaints with playing Scarlet and Violet is that if you watched my playthrough, I kept saying this game really needs voice acting. Right? That was one of my common complaints about the game. Still is. But I found out there's a guy on YouTube. They go by Dr. Bonehead. And they put out 2 videos of themselves and a few other people actually dubbing some of the scenes from Scarlet and Violet with voice acting. Like they dubbed, the one example is the Penny scene from the end of the game where the members of Team Star figure out that she's the big boss. They dubbed that scene. And holy fuck, guys, this game needed voice acting. Really, it works 1,000 times better with voice acting. Like, holy shit, guys. Go look them up. They're like 2 5-minute videos. Just dubbing a bunch of different scenes from the game. Real short stuff. And again, is it the most amazing voice acting in the world? I don't know. But it makes the scenes without them feel right. It's like, no, this should have been the case the entire time. God, that game needed voice acting. And it's a real fucking shame they didn't do it. That sucks, right? Pokemon needs voice acting. God damn it. It's more apparent now than ever watching those. But that's side tangent. So the other game I've been playing... yeah, the other game I've been playing is Sports Story. So, Golf Story is one of my favorite games. Maybe not of all time, But it's definitely one of my favorite games on Switch. I have said in the past that if you own a Switch, Golf Story is a must-buy. At some point in you owning a Switch. Like, if you're ever going to pick up an indie game, pick up Golf Story. Especially because I think it is Switch exclusive still. Fantastic game. So, the sequel came out, and I was excited for it. But then, I kept hearing that, no, it's actually pretty buggy and broken. Which sucks. Hearing that the game is buggy and broken, that sucks to hear. I was like, oh, I'm so disappointed. But, I was going to wait to play the game myself, because Pokemon Scarlet and Violet was very buggy and broken. But I came across very few bugs during my playthrough. I mean, I've definitely seen some shit in the Terror Raids in the post-game. But that's Terror Raids in the post-game. The actual game itself has been fine. Fine-ish. Not perfect, but fine. But, so I was like, you know what, I'll judge the game for itself. And then it came out that, hey, there was a hidden room in the game that's like the development studio. And they basically put in a thing where it's the developers talking about how the game, right, like, they weren't listening to bug testers, right, management. That the game was kind of rushed, for lack of a better term. That they prioritized adding new features over making those features actually good. So that's a big, scathing indictment. I haven't actually been in, it's actually pretty easy to get in that room from what it seems like. I haven't actually done it yet. I just know it is there. But that's and maybe I'll pull it up here in a second after this match. But yeah, so that was a big thing, and that was all just before I'd even played it. So I started the game, and it starts off with okay, it's Golf Story again, right? You coach Laura and Coach's niece, who I do not remember being in the first game, but she might have been, are all going to this island. They were invited to this island by Pure Strike, who is the company that makes golf clubs, but now they're buying up golf resorts. The villain of the game is capitalism, right? I can just tell you right now, Pure Strike is this monopoly that's buying up all the golf courses. That's clearly evil, even though so far 10 plus hours, I have not beat this game, I should say, but 10 plus hours in, the game has never actually said, just straight up said that Pure Strike is evil, even though they've done several evil things. You find their evil conference room, or right, you go to their headquarters at one point and find all these evil documents. But they never, straight up are yeah, capitalism is the bad guy. Even though the game is clearly saying that capitalism is the bad guy. But no, instead we keep fighting the Yakuza. Even though the Yakuza's secret base is beneath Pure Strike's headquarters. So, yeah. Capitalism bad. But, so the game starts off, right? It starts off like your first Golf Story. You play some golf, because you go to the first area, which is, a golf course. It plays, the opening of the game plays a lot like the first game. Admittedly, I do feel like the golf game is simplified a little bit, which in theory isn't a problem. Because a big part of what this game is marketing itself on is, at least I felt like it was marketing itself on, is the idea that, oh, you're playing sports. Instead of just being about golf, this new game is about a bunch of different sports. Right? You're playing all these different sports, not just golf. So, the first area being golf, I'm fine with, because, it's golf. It's the sequel to Golf Story. Of course I expect there to be some actual fucking golf in it. And I'm fine with it being a simplified golf, because, oh, you're just starting off with golf. And then from there, maybe you'll move on to a different sport. That both does and does not happen at the same time. So, you technically move on from golf, but so in the first Golf Story, you can press up one button to you unlock these features. I think you unlock the ability to throw a golf ball, and then you unlock the ability to hit a golf ball at any point. And you might start off with hit a golf ball at any point. They're fine features, and they allowed for exploration and hitting custom targets and whatnot. You even see it right in this game. There's a bunch of balloons to pop that you can randomly find. So yeah, I'm fine with stuff like that. But then no, but you keep coming back to golf. All the new areas have golf courses. Part of me, and I know this is right, this is part of the problem, is that, oh, this game was so focused on new features. Right, and literally this is me asking for more features. And right, that I wish they had spent more time on some of these features. But also, I would have given them as much, right? Like, I know I was clamoring for this game. I've been waiting, what, 5 years since for Metroid Prime 4, and I'll wait another 5 more if we have to. Right? Like, I say I want a game, but if the developer... Transparency fucking matters. If the developers had come out and said, like, hey, this is what's going on, the game got very ambitious, it's gonna take a while. Yep, completely, and right, we don't want to overwork our employees, completely understand. Of course, then it becomes a problem of, did they run out of money? Right, is that why they had to just get the game out now? Because they ran out of money? And yeah, no, that totally might be a problem. And yeah, it's fucking capitalism. So let me show. Okay, so I've got, before we actually jump back into matches and whatnot, I do want to show off the glitches some of the glitches I've seen so far. Let's see. I've got a bunch of different clips in here. So let's, and we're just gonna look through some of these. This definitely isn't everything, and I'm sure there will be some repeats. But there was this point, so you see these yellow bars on the... this is in the first area, when I was actually playing golf. And this is, what, hole 7? And the yellow bars just got stuck on the side of the screen. I thought I took a video of it, but I guess I didn't. Yeah, those yellow bars were just stuck on the side of the screen. Because, like, that's, like, the transition, like, between holes. There was a pirate ship in the starting area, where, like, the tutorial area where you do volleyball. There was a pirate ship that then disappeared, and right, but the pirate captain is still there when I came back later. This part. So, okay. Oops. Okay, so, context. So, there's this mall you keep going back to. And right at the mall, there's like a golf shop. It's where you get your, like, license upgrading, so that way you can go to new areas. There's a tennis shop. There's a mini golf course, right? There's all sorts of different things in this mall. But every time you come back to this mall, in this, like, center area, there's something different. The first time you come here, it's a, like... what is it the first time you come here? I know at one point they do, like, a raffle to give away a free car. But, right, so there's all sorts of different things. Like, you can get license stamps at one point during the tournament. But at one point you come back and you find these RC car guys. So it's these guys that have these little RC cars. And it was like, oh, it's going to be this cool RC racing game. So I tried it. I failed it. And then I was like, okay, I'll just try again. And as you can see right there, they went to place my car down. And it just fell completely out of bounds. This was easily the most broken thing I saw in the entire game. So, right, my car's just completely gone. Its shadow is still there. But it's somewhere's, like, off. It's somewhere's way out there. And so I tried... so I tried driving around with it, you know. I couldn't get it working. So I quit the game. So I quit the RC game and came back in. And now I could leave the normal RC area and explore the rest of the mall. Because, right, they're all loaded in, like, the same map. So, like, this is the mini golf course that we're seeing right here. Let's see, what else does it do? What else happens? Right, back in the parking garage. We can actually go to the mall itself, and, like, my character is just still standing there. And this mall is where you find the, that hidden room, right, with the developers. It's somewheres in this area as well. There's a big arcade sign for no reason. at this point, I think I got stuck in place for a while. But then that thing started, like, I was stuck in place. But, like, that thing was off screen somewheres, and I don't know what it was. But I could, like, kind of move. It was a bucket of balls. And for some reason, I could move that around for some reason. So that was pretty buggy. So when you come to this area, when you first come here, it's raining. But then through the events of the story, you get the Cthulhu. It's not called Cthulhu, but you get Cthulhu to make it stop raining. And then when I came back later, the rain effects were still there. Or, like, you can see, like, in the water, it looks as if it's still raining, but it's not, right? The rain effects are gone, but you can still see it in, like, the puddles and everything. And that was just very... I was like, what? So there was that. This is the biking minigame. Every area has a bike minigame. Every area also has a flamingo, but that's never bugged out on me. But yeah, there's this bike minigame. Oh yeah, like, I was not, right, as you can see, I wasn't done with the course yet. Like, there's still another, maybe this was, maybe the end got was early, I don't know. But it was really weird that it just, like, gives me the win right there. Oh, this one pissed me off. Oh my god, this one pissed me off. So, right, like I said, even though this is called Sports Story, and I'd expect every area to be a different sport, you constantly keep going back to golf. Which, in theory, if it was Golf Story 2, I wouldn't have a problem with. And in some ways, even I still don't have a problem with it. Keep going back to golf. But I don't know, I guess with the title of Sports Story, it's kind of like, right, like, remember when I saw Doctor Strange, and I was like, you know, for a movie called Multiverse of Madness, the multiverse isn't very mad in this movie. For a game called Sports Story, we keep going back to golf an awful lot. Which, again, I like golfing in Golf Story. And it's mostly the same in here. It just feels different. And, like, some things are better. Like, if you look at the beginning of the clip, you can see the putting green. Putting is better in this game. That's something I do stand by. Putting is... Because they have, like, these arrows now to mark... At least I don't remember this being in the first game. It might have been, but I don't remember it. They have, like, these arrows to mark, like, which way the putting green is sloping. And I just find putting better in this game. One of my only problems with the original Golf Story is that I do not like putting in that game. There's just something about it that feels wrong. So yeah, putting is better. But yeah, and they added, like, some new balls as well that I feel like, to make up for some of the features they took away, they added, like, new golf balls. Like, there's a golf ball that rolls towards the hole. I should probably be using them more, but I really don't. But okay, so back to this clip. So this is so we're in the desert, of course, and right, there's all these tornadoes, which they're kind of annoying, and they did completely fuck me over several times. Which also, the obstacles in this game, right? Like, the first game you fought against, like, snapping turtles and birds and whatnot. This game has tornadoes and water hazards. It just feels less creative, which, again, part of me doesn't think it's actually, like, that bad of a thing. But yeah, so I'm already doing... So right here, this is the 4th hole. I'm doing okay, right? I'm 1 under par, not too bad. And then this happens. I hit the ball. For no reason, it goes out of bounds. That happened, like, 4 more times on this course. 3 or 4 more. And it just... Oh my god, I was so annoyed. Because there was no reason for that to happen. Right? Look, we're 3 holes later, and I'm 7 over par. I think the same thing happens here. I think this is another clip of me going out of bounds. Is it not? Okay, maybe these were just some terrible shots. I remember hating this desert course so much. Usually I play better than this, right? Usually I'm a lot better than this. But no, this desert course just completely tripped me up. I kept going out of bounds. My shots kept getting screwed up. Ugh, I hated it. Oh, wait, where do I aim this shot? Yeah, okay, maybe this is what I'm complaining about. So, as you see where I aim the shot, right? I aim it over here onto the greens. The wind is coming towards me. So, right, if anything, the shot should end up in these landmines down there. Because I actually, right, I hit the right distance. I hit the right power. And yet it still ends up over in those bushes for some reason. So, yeah, maybe that was it. I think this is this what I think it is? No, this is not. So this is the next hole. Shoot my shot. And that was a hole in one. Yeah, okay. So for all the terribleness I was doing in the desert course, I also scored my first hole in one. I was able to glitch myself up onto this pirate ship, which really isn't that big of a deal. It actually made for a better shot. And yeah, so that's all my weird golf story glitches, you know. And that's just the stuff I took screenshots of. There's so much other stuff I missed. But yeah, the game, like, those aren't the worst bugs I have ever seen. Not even close to it, actually. I've definitely seen far worse stuff. But those are just kind of the ones that stood out to me. Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna open up Twitter real quick. Do I have a video of that thing recorded? Or did I save a video of the guy who made it into the secret room? I think I did. Yeah, here it is. So oops. Okay, so this is the clip. So, right, it's this guy, he glitched his way into this room. It's like, welcome to the cold cartridge. Yes, we are the developers of the video game Golf. So, in the first Golf story, there was a fictional golf video game called Golf. So that's like what the joke is on. We're currently on an enforced break. Our new game is coming out any day now. You said that a year ago. You might say we're experiencing a troubled development. You might also say somebody kept requesting new features and my original vision no longer exists. One might even venture to say we should have made a game that works instead of adding features. The menu is still broken. They told me this was fixed. Should I report it again? That is not a good thing to have hidden in your game. So this is the Tendog is the Twitter user, and they also have a video showing how to get into it and some other out-of-bounds secrets. So yeah, this is right. This one, right? No longer. You might also say somebody kept requesting new features, and my original vision no longer exists. That's awful. That is absolutely awful to hear. And I mean, like, I know I'm gonna, like, the stuff I'm gonna say is like, oh, they should have done this big thing. They should have done this big thing. If they had just made Golf Story 2, I would have been fine. I would have been fine with Golf Story 2. Right? And I don't, and I know I'm saying all these, like, things about this game. I do not hate this game. Like, is it gonna make the Game of the Year list next year? Or this year? Like, because part of me was really worried, like, oh, with Sports Story coming out at the end of the year, Right? Is this going to be the dark horse candidate that comes in and swoops in and steals Game of the Year out from under Splatoon? No, I was clearly wrong about that. But I have not hated my time with this game. I want to make that clear. I do not hate my time with this game. I wish I liked more of it, but I do not hate it by any means. I want to be transparent. I do not hate Sports Story. It's just I feel like there was something greater there that just does not come to fruition. Right? That there was more here. Part of me wished how the game worked was that you went... So, like, you start off in the first area, which is a golf course. And that's how the first area works. It's just a golf course. Then the second area you go to in the game is like this mining town. And in this mining town, you learn that the cricket team, the local cricket team, is missing. So my thought would be like, oh, the second area would be all about cricket, which, as an American, I know fuck all about cricket. I mean, yeah, even from watching all the Bluey I have, which we'll talk about next, I still know nothing about cricket. But I know cricket's like a thing, because the developers are Australian. At least I'm pretty sure they are. And right, I know cricket's a thing down there, and it's a thing in the UK, and it's a thing in India. But I know nothing about it, right? Cricket's just a joke, a game that makes no sense. But I would have generally loved a cricket, right? If they had done a section on cricket. But no, they really don't. Like, yeah, there are some sections about cricket. They talk about the different, like, knocks and the blocks and the hitting the skiffle what's-it off the who's-he what's-it to do the Jimmy what's-it, right? They make references to cricket. And yes, they do point out the absurdity of some things. But part of me wished that the mining section was all about cricket, right? And it ended with you, because at the end of the section, the captain of the cricket team goes missing. Well, he kind of dies. He doesn't, but it looks like he dies. And so it makes sense, like, oh, you take place as the captain of the cricket team to fight the French cricket team. No, that's not what happens. You do a few cricket-adjacent things, and that's it. And then, boom, the section's over. And in the middle of that section, you play an entire 7 or 9 holes of golf. 7 holes. You play a certain numbers of golf, which, okay, but no, I feel like the entire section and the underground golf course, like, you know, it looked fine. Doesn't definitely like fully stand out in my memory, but no, I definitely feel like there is something to, like, yeah, like, admittedly, I have no idea how cricket would work in a 2D environment. Like, for a lot of other games in Golf Story, for the fishing section, for the baseball section, I'm using quotes there. There's, like, I know those are sports that work in a 2D environment, right? I've seen 2D baseball. I've seen 2D fishing. I've never seen 2D cricket. Maybe cricket doesn't work in 2D. But I would have loved to have seen them give it a try. But nope, instead you do some cricket stuff, then you go play some golf, and then you go play some more cricket. And then you play, like, a little bit of cricket, and then that's it, and the area's over. So yeah, I kind of wish the second section was all about cricket. That's it, right? It didn't need to. You could have just left the golf stuff behind, or you could have, like, made all the golf mechanics cricket mechanics, right? So instead of pressing like Y or whatever to hit a golf ball, you instead hit Y to hit a cricket ball, or something. And instead of, like, throwing a golf ball with X, you instead threw a cricket ball, and it didn't travel as far, and, right, they made puzzles around that. There is definitely a way to do it, to just basically make the golf mechanics that just have a different visual flair, and call it a day. But no, they don't even do that. And again, part of me thinks they kind of don't have to, part of me wishes they really did. That dev room makes everything so much more complicated. I'm definitely not calling these devs lazy. I want to say that. I'm not calling these devs lazy. It's just, I guess I just expected something different, maybe. And again, I still enjoy the game. Yeah, and then from the cricket section, the next section is a fishing section. Right, you go to the fishing section, you find out the town is stuck in perpetual rain. So like, oh, it's been raining forever here. And so you have to like figure out how to stop the forever rain. And that's what I want. I wish every section worked like the fishing section. Because, right, kind of like how I said, I wish the normal golf throw was just replaced with the cricket hit. And the golf section, yeah, no, your normal golf hit is replaced by a fishing rod. Well, once you unlock the fishing rod. And, right, everything kind of works around that. Everything you do in the fishing section is based around fishing. Right? There is no golf... I mean, there's one little, like, golf side area that I hated. Oh, my God. The challenge took me... It was, like, a precision challenge that took me forever. I don't remember the first golf story being that hard. But no, it took me forever. But, no, the fishing section I think was excellent. Right? Everything about how the fishing minigame worked, it was simple, but effective. The fishing section worked fine. The fishing mechanic, right? You get different baits, different bobbers. There's a bunch of trading side quests, but to be fair, I think that's how the first game worked as well. So, yeah, I wish every section was like the fishing section. And that's how it goes as well. Like, there's the next section... Like, I'm not going to go into much more detail after that, but I feel like the only section that does, right, that's as consistent as the fishing section is the tennis academy, and that's because it's the tennis academy. The entire thing is based around tennis. Every other area, like, no, it doesn't work like that at all. And, like, I'm fine with them, like, interrupting I'm fine with every section having a BMX minigame that, you know, is, like, one step removed from Excitebike. I'm fine with that. Those sections usually work fine. Right, like, I'm fine with one of those, right? I'm fine with every area having a flamingo that you have to give a flamingo cake to. That's very charming, right? Shit like that is what made the original game charming. But it's other, right, like baseball. Like, at one point you need to get a baseball bat. And, like, so it would make sense to me if there was an entire area based around baseball. There is, so far from everything I've played, a single baseball minigame that is literally just you hitting pitches. That's it. You do the one baseball minigame, and I haven't, maybe it'll show up near the end. They're definitely building up to a 10-sport tournament at the end of the game, the decathlon, right? Deca meaning 10. And I'm sure that'll mention, right, you'll have a section for baseball. I'm sure you'll have a section for curling, or not curling would have been a really fun one. Honestly, I know curling is more of a Canadian thing, but that would have been funny. I'm sure there'll be a soccer section. I'm sure there'll be I'm glad they're not doing American football, at least so far. That's good. But no, I definitely feel like there should have been an entire baseball section. Like, the desert area should have been a baseball section. When you go to the United Kingdom based area, that should have been a soccer themed area. That was right. That was what sucked there. Like, there's instead like one really hard soccer mini game because I do not understand how it works at all. Like there's been a few soccer mini games before that, but the one soccer mini game in the United Kingdom area, and I call it the United Kingdom area literally only because the Queen of England is there, or she's probably the Queen of Australia, but same difference. Right, I have no problem with, right, I wish that entire area, but nope, instead you just play another round of golf that challenges you to get birdie medals. I don't know, I just felt like, I guess it's not that I wanted more sports, it's just like I wish they had focused more on the sports. Instead of constantly going back to golf, I would have loved to have spent some time with cricket. Because I feel like the cricket mechanics worked fine. I felt like the fishing mechanics were great, right? The fishing is easily the most developed area. Even if it just results in a bunch of fetch quests That's fine, right? There's no, like, big fishing tournament. Instead, there's a Zelda dungeon at the end of the fishing segment, and you have to fight Cthulhu at the end of it. And that points out that, writing-wise, well, I do not, like, I thought the first Golf Story was hilarious. I think this game is funny, just not as funny as the original. But it does have its moments. Right, fighting Cthulhu in the fishing area as, like, the final boss. That's neat. That's a neat idea. There's an entire mission that's a Metal Gear Solid reference, right, where you're breaking into the Yakuza headquarters. That's fun, right? There's stuff like that that I do like, and that I do think work well. But then there's a lot of other shit that I feel like there's more that could have been done here. But they just don't because in the first game you do right, like there's a necromancer who you have to play golf against the zombies to like stop the undead uprising. There's birds stealing balls, and there are birds in cages in this one. It just feels like it's lesser Golf Story. That's it. Like, it's like Golf Story is still like a solid like 10 out of 10. This is just lesser Golf Story, a 7 out of 10. It's still good, it's just lesser. And I wanted it to be, and like, if it had been like 9 out of 10, I would tell you. Like, if it had been 9 out of 10, that still would have been great. I would have taken that. And I do definitely think the developers are capable. Wow, that was close. But no, it didn't work out. And it's sad. But yeah, and then there are new, like, there are some new characters, like Laura, the rival from the first game, is back, and she's a lot of fun. I still like her character, because she's the asshole rival, you know, like Blue in Pokemon, except for you do befriend her, and she's still an asshole to you, because, you know, the protagonist is like this nice, friend-loving guy, who, you know, has a good time making friends, but he's also kind of an idiot. But they introduce a new girl, Moon, who's like this expert at trick shots, and you enter the golf tournament with her, because there's a golf tournament as well in the middle of everything. Because, again, capitalism evil, and you're playing for the capitalism team. Because, yeah, capitalism. I don't know, it might... I have not played the ending. I got to a point where it's like, okay, I went through all of this section, and I got this item that I was asked to get. Okay, I've got this item, now what do I do? Okay, I'm gonna take it to this character. So I took it to the character, and she was like, okay, thanks for getting the item. Now to continue on with the story, you need this other item as well. You need the item I asked for, right, that she told me to go out and find. But you need this other thing as well. And I was like, where do I find this other thing? I have literally never heard of this up to this point. So I was like, that's where I stopped. Because the other thing I have not mentioned is the game has crashed on me at least 5 times. I've never lost too much progress. Like, you hear stories about games that crash and you lose like half an hour of progress. And it's just like, why even pick... Right, I lost half an hour of progress. The game's flawed, why even pick it up? Right, why even play it again? Right, if I'm just gonna... Oh, what if another crash happens and I lose even more progress? No, at most I've lost 3 minutes of progress. So crashes have never... Like, the game has crashed several times. But it's never really, like, ruined the entire... Right, like, at most I had to do, like, a single, like, side quest again. I think that was, and it was a very easy side quest. So, right, like a side quest, a challenge, you know what I mean. It didn't take, crashes, it sucks that the game's crashed as much as it has. But I never, like, the autosave is decent, pretty decent. So I've never really, it's never ruined anything. At least that's my thought. Again, I've played like 10 plus hours. As far as I know, the game's like 14 hours, if that. which is not a terrible for like that's basically an hour $1 or whatever. I don't know. I do still recommend the first game. Like the first Golf Story is still so good, and I'm not gonna discredit that. I just wish there was more here. Right now, this is just Diet Golf Story. And there have been other games where it's like, oh, this is just Diet, whatever it's called. Which, sometimes that's fine. Sometimes I am fine with a game just being, oh, this is Diet, whatever popular game is. Sometimes that's okay. This is one of those times where, no, I wish this was just, like, actual full-fledged thing. Oh, wow, they didn't actually get that. Oh, come on. So I guess that takes us to our last story of the day. Or the last thing I have to talk about. Which is... Oh, well, I'll save I was going to talk about Kaleidoscope. I'll save it for next week. I'm only like 3 episodes in. I'll talk about Kaleidoscope next week. I'll have it finished by then. So I'll save that one. But I've been watching Bluey. If you watched in my 2022 in review, I talked about how I've been interested in Bluey. Because I feel like every other millennial, late Gen... I guess it would be early Gen Z. Right? Like Gen Zs that were born in the early 2000s. Maybe late 90s, I guess. I feel like they've all been watching Bluey recently. And I was like, you know what? I should just finally bite the bullet and watch Bluey. So that's exactly what I did. I bit the bullet and I started watching the baby show Bluey. And yeah, I get why everybody's talking about it. Yep, it is good. It's really good. I've mentioned the quote in the past, right? Ify Wadiwe said that, most kids shows are garbage, but Bluey fucking slaps. And yeah, he's correct. Bluey does fucking slap. It's been interesting because I saw somebody describe Bluey that, right, when you think of most kids, right, when you think of like a good kids show, it's a show that kids really enjoy, that parents can also find something to enjoy in. Right? A lot of animation that I've talked about over the years, right? Technically, these are kids' shows, but there's something that anybody can enjoy. And I think Bluey is just the youngest of that demographic. Like, most of the stuff, like Steven and the Owl House, are like anywhere from 8 to 13-year-olds can enjoy. Like, that's the intended demographic. But so can someone in their, mid to late 20s. Bluey, on the other hand, is clearly made for, 3 to 5-year-olds. Maybe even younger than that. But yeah, somebody also... Right, it just... Out of all these shows, it definitely skews towards a younger demographic. So it's a kids' show that adults can enjoy. But I saw somebody bring up the idea that what if Bluey isn't a kids' show that parents can enjoy, but a show meant for parents that kids can also enjoy? I don't think that's 100% correct. It is definitely a kids' show. But I also can totally see it as a parenting show. So maybe they're both right? Because I think... Okay, so when I was younger, there were all these shows about parenting. The one that always sticks out in my mind was Nanny 911. And I only bring that up because of drama. Because I'm the oldest child. I am the experiment child. Oh, you've never raised a kid before? Well, let's just do some experimenting, right? At worst, it leaves mental scarring. Right? That's the worst that could happen. Right? I was the experiment child. I was the child that got hit with the belt My brothers did not. Right? I was the experiment. Trauma. So yeah. But there was a show called 9911 that honestly the most relevant thing it has done, the only place I've seen it in pop culture in the past 15 years is the South Park episode, which admittedly came out around that time. But yeah, that's literally the only place I've seen it I've seen reruns of that South Park episode. Other than that, it really, I don't think, has left a cultural impact. And people don't really make shows like 9911 anymore. Mainly because of, child abuses and whatnot. I'm sure there's some other dark backstory back. Like, I would not be surprised if there was some other dark backstory there. But, child abuse. Because, right, these parents made monster children. And now they have to call the nanny to fix them. Or in South Park's case, they call Caesar Milan the dog whisperer. Fantastic fucking episode. God, that's a great episode of South Park, I should say. Calling the dog whisperer on Cartman is so fucking funny. But okay, so back to my childhood trauma. My mother had a 9911 book, and it was like a book on raising kids and whatnot. And right, she used stuff. Right, she tested it on me. I can guarantee beyond a reasonable doubt she still has that book. I bet money on it. But yeah, so that was a whole thing, but it was a show meant for parents that, taught some behaviors that my parents used on me to, try to get me to behave that they definitely didn't use on my brothers. I'll say that. I will say that, because I wasn't a perfect child by any means, but I was definitely the experiment child. And, by the way, I've definitely told them this at some point or another. I've definitely made reference to this. Right, every stereotype about, like, the three kids, right, the eldest one is the experiment child, the middleest is the forgotten child, and the youngest is the favorite. Those are all 100% true. Yep, in my experiment, like, every meme I see about those, completely accurate. Yep, 100% accurate. But as millennials and Gen Xers, come in, right, start having their own kids. To be fair, the oldest millennials are in their fucking almost 40. No, they would be over. Millennials starts in 1980. So the oldest millennials are like 42. 43 this year. Right, so there's been definitely this consensus with millennials that the trauma ends with them. The things they did, their parents, their boomer and Gen X parents did to them, they will not do to their kids. The trauma ends with them, which takes us back to Bluey of, right, these are good parents who just fucking love their kids. And this is, right, it's a show teaching parents, end the cycle. Love your kids. Don't be like former President Donald Trump, who says it's gay to love your son. Just love your son. Be like Joe Biden, who even though his son is a fuck up, he still loves him because it's his son. Why wouldn't he? Whereas Donald Trump fucking hates his kids. No, yeah, and that's not a joke, by the way. Like, all of that is true. Donald Trump fucking hates his kids, and most Republicans do as well. And that's why the idea of that's why they keep bringing up Hunter Biden so much, because the idea that Joe Biden loves his son Hunter, even though he's a fuck up, just blows their mind, because they don't love any of their kids. But yeah, so the parents in Bluey are fantastic. Getting back on point, I don't remember either of their names, right? It's mom and dad. I don't remember. I want to say the father is named Bandit. I cannot remember the mother's name. It also starts with a B, I think. But the parents are fantastic, right? The dad comes in. A lot of the early episodes are just the dad playing games with his kids. Oh, we're gonna play shopping. Oh, we're gonna play doctors. we're gonna play, we're gonna climb Mount Dad, which that's an adorable episode where where they're pretending to be like fingers, like it's the finger people, and they're climbing the father. That's such a fun episode. But yeah, it's just right, like a lot of them, and the mom, right, the longer the show goes on, the more involved the mom gets, as she, because right, they're both like, I thought it was originally going to be like the scenario of, right, the dad is a stay-at-home dad and the mom works, which isn't, right, not the stereotypical thing. I mean, to be fair, both parents work in the show, but right, that's where I thought, like, based on the first few episodes. And they do actually, there's one of the kids at the kindergarten who mentions that, right, they play mom and dad, and one of them has a mom that works and a dad that stays home, while the other has a dad that works and a mom that stays home. So they do bring that up in one episode. I don't remember either of the kids. The only kids' names I remember is, I know Chloe is, I want to say Chloe is the poodle, and I know Mackenzie is one of them. I have no idea what dogs they are. To be fair, I recognize some of the breeds, but not that many. But yeah, I know Chloe, Mackenzie. Do I recognize any of the other names? Muffin is the cousin, and Socks is her younger brother. Or sister, I don't remember. Socks is, I think, like 1 year old. Oh god, they got the signal through. Oh god. They got the signal. Okay, we lost. So yeah, it's just, right, and one of the things, what I love about them, and like, you'll have moments where, like, the dad is playing with his daughters, and they'll be out in public, and they'll do something embarrassing, and the dad is originally hesitant to do it, but eventually he gives in. Like, there's one episode where they're, like, playing pirates, and the dad's, like, right, like, they're on, like, a hammock, but then another parent comes over, like, one of his buddies, and he's originally, like, hesitant to continue playing with them and, like, make weird sounds, but eventually he gives in and he does it. So I love, right, the parents are just there for their kids, they play games, they love them, and I just love that. I absolutely love that. And I love everybody else in town plays along as well. The neighbor who, for some reason I remember it's called Lucky's dad, because even though Lucky has only showed up in like 1 or 2 episodes, I remember I remember their name because the dad's is Lucky's dad, right? He plays along. Like at one point, Bluey turns his or Bluey her. Ugh. I know they're all female. You know me, I'm bad with pronouns. I know they're all female. I know everyone. I've seen that thing where like people keep calling Bluey him, but it's a girl, right? Just because character, blue, boy color. No, that's not. This is not me confusing the gender. This is me being a fucking idiot who is bad with pronouns. I've got over 10 years of content to prove it. Well, specifically 6, but yeah. But yeah, again, idiot. Turns her sister and mom into lions, and they sneak over to Lucky's dad's, and the right, Bingo and mom lion attack, and he just plays along with it. Or there's one where they play kids, and Bluey is playing the mom, and Bingo is playing, for some reason I remember this name, Snowdrop, and the dad is playing like the angsty teen brother. And in that episode, the cashier, like when they're checking out at the grocery store, the cashier just plays along to the fact that Bluey's the mom, along with like one other character in that episode who also just like catches on and like plays along with it. I love that every adult in the show, right? Like at no point has there been an adult who's like, oh, you need to be like proper little ladies, right? You can't be playing kids games. Right? No, at no point does anyone like say that's, to be fair, that's a very an American boomer thing. And right, this is an Australian show. But yeah, there's a great Tumblr post. I think it was a Tumblr post about that, where like a kid's at like the supermarket playing like superhero or something, and an old lady's like, "Don't you want to be a princess?" And then she's like, "No, I want to be a superhero." Or maybe it's like a pirate. And I want to say she like kicks the old lady in like the knee or something like that. I don't know. It's one of those things that might be fake. It might be real. You never really know with the internet. I know there's that notion to assume that everything's fake on the internet, and you can tell when some stuff is fake. But the world's a very big place. Anything is possible. But yeah, so I love the fact that every adult just kind of plays along with their stupid ideas. I love that fact. That's one of them. That's right. As an adult watching this baby show, that's something that I just really appreciate. That every adult plays along. So I absolutely love that. That was a great kill. What else? I have not cried. I've been told there are some episodes that will totally make you cry. Right? Where sometimes, because, right, even though sometimes you don't want a moral lesson, sometimes you just want ice cream. But no, I have not. There's one episode that got me close. But I don't remember what it was. I want to say it was something the mom said. That was like, oh wow, that's really sad. And I've only finished the first season. So I am not far enough in the show to have met the mom's sister yet. And I've heard there's some sad thing about her. I'm not far enough in the show. I haven't even met her yet. No, there was something. One of the great moments was so in that kids episode, right, the one where I was talking about, like, where the convenience store clerk was like playing along, in that episode starts off with Bluey asking the dad which one of them is his favorite child, and he's just like, yeah, dads don't have favorites. And then later on, when they're playing pretend, Bluey says that Bingo Snowdrop is his favorite child, and the dad gets like really bummed out for a moment there. And I was like, oh my god, that's the saddest thing ever. Like I didn't actually make me cry, because, again, they're playing pretend and whatnot. But, like, that was like holy shit. Like, there's that whole thing about, like, when it comes to making kids media, there are two approaches. The first approach is, they're stupid fucking kids. We can just put flashing colors, pretty lights, and a lot of wacky sound effects in front of the TV, and they'll eat it up, right? Because they're stupid fucking kids. Then there is the approach that, kids are actually a lot smarter than we give them credit for. That because they are kids, we don't have to give them just the lowest common denominator. We actually have to put a lot of effort into this because they're kids. They deserve the best. And of course, of those two approaches, the second one is clearly correct. But somehow we keep ending back at door number 1. I say that, but I definitely feel like in the past 20 years, things have gotten a lot better. Now, maybe 20 is a little too generous. But, like, I hear stories of, like, people talking about, like, Doc McStuffins, like, inspiring their kid, and it's like, yeah, we've clearly gone a long way. And that was, like, 5 or 6 years ago now. So yeah, no, we can right? Kids deserve the best. And you know, we can treat them mature because kids will catch on to a lot more than we give them credit for. They're smart little buggers, really. Like, they do deserve the best. And yeah, I completely agree. That's a philosophy I've held for years now. Right? And that's where you get some excellent kids programming, right? Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. He believed kids deserved the best. And yeah, it was great. But yeah, so that episode, right, because like this show is not always like sounds and noises. Sometimes it does have its quieter moments. Sometimes it gets like the animation gets like really detailed for a second when they do like zoom ins. Like early on, like Bingo finds like a stick, or a walking leaf, and like goes up to it, and like her face gets like the shadows get really detailed for a second there, and it's like, oh, that's neat. And they do that every once in a while. Every once in a while, they'll put out some like high quality animation. And I think, and not saying that the rest of the show looks like bad or anything. It's just they enhance the details just for these little special moments. And I really like that. They do it several times. But yeah, no, right, when Bluey says that Snowdrop is her favorite child, ugh, it really does, it's like, oh yeah, this is a quiet moment. And Bluey realizes her mistake and is like, no, I shouldn't have said that. Right? The kids are smart. Bluey comes to, I know this is this is a pre-written show. But no, I 100% believe a real kid would come to the same conclusion as Bluey. Because the other thing is, these kids feel like fucking kids. And I'm not just talking, that is the first time I've ever killed someone using a Booyah Bomb. And I'm not just talking, right, Muffin, who I've seen described as, like, the most accurate portrayal of a kid ever in television. And I kind of get it. I definitely, I saw a clip. I haven't seen the episode yet, because I think it's, like, a season 3. But there's an episode with, where there's an iPad, and, like, I saw it on TikTok, and Muffin steals the iPad, and then just goes crazy with it, and, like, runs around, and it's like, yeah, okay, I see kid as kid. But no, the kids are well written, and something I respect the hell out of this show is you constantly hear stories about these child actors and actresses, right, getting harassed, getting shit, right, or they grow, right, you always hear all these terrible things about child actors and actresses. But all the child actors in this show, completely anonymous. In the credits, it's only the actors for the adults, right? The parents, Calypso, who's another name I remember. Admittedly, I remember Calypso's name because Calypso is, I'm pretty sure Calypso is an Australian Shepherd, and my dog is an Australian Shepherd. That's the only reason why I remember Calypso's name. God, I want to draw I wish I could draw. I want to draw my dogs in the Bluey style so bad. That would be so fucking cute. But no. Nope. God, I wish I could draw. But no. Right, the adults are, right, their names are in the credits. All the kids, uncredited. Which is, right, which I know seems like a bad thing, but no, that's actually a great thing. And of course, like, once they're adults, I hope there's, like, some sort of thing where, like, no, they can actually get credit for their work. Because, again, they do a really good job. But, like, that's once they're, like, 18. As kids, no, let them be kids. Right? Child actors fuck things up. Of course, it's an Australian show, so I'm sure that's why they can get away with it. Like, if you do this in America, no. Which, part of it is child labor laws and union laws, which is a good thing. But it also, yeah, no, some of this shit does fuck kids up. So, yeah. Yeah, I know there was... there's one episode where they find an injured bird, and the bird doesn't make it. It dies. And, like, there's an entire episode about Bluey processing her grief after that, and, like, how she does it. And, like, yeah, that was a fantastic episode, because, like, she recreates, like, the death of the bird, And you think it's like, oh, well, this time the bird's gonna live. But no, that's not what she wants. She wants the bird to still die. Because, right, it's how she processes things. That was great. There was definitely some moment with the mom, though, where I was like, oh my god, that's so sad. I don't remember what it is. And there are also very funny moments as well. Right? It's not all super serial. There's tons of shit. Like, the first season's like 50 like, 8-minute so it's 50 episodes that are each like 8 minutes each, and that's including credits, I think. Maybe it's like 7-8 minute episodes. They're all really short episodes. So you can... I binged it in, what, 7 days for a season? That's not bad at all. But, right, there are some really funny moments as well. Definitely a lot of stuff I'm forgetting. There's some really funny ones. The grandmas. They play grandma at one point. And, the episode is like, oh, Bingo is asking, well, do grandmas floss? Right? Because, the dance move, the floss. Which I know some people will be like, oh, cringe. These are fucking children. Cut them a fucking break. Yes, children are cringe. They have always been cringe. You were cringe. We've all been cringe at one point. Cut them a fucking break. It was an adorable episode. And Bingo and Bluey playing grandma was so cute. Especially when they get the actual grandparents and teach them how to floss. I love that little moment. There's so much other stuff I'm forgetting. That entire episode with the asparagus wand, where they they turn people into animals. That one was really cute. Same thing with the feather wand, where they can make... And I love how everyone just plays along. They have a feather wand that can make anything light or heavy. Specifically, they use heavy a lot. And it's so much fun to just see how that plays out. There's so much I'm forgetting. I'm trying to pull up an episode list, but I'm also trying to play. I don't want to let my team down. Even though I know I am. Oh no, I'm dead. The Shadowlands one was very cute. Mainly because I remember doing that as a child. Right? Walking on the shadows. Walking down the road and hopping between the tiles, right? You don't want to step on a crack. You don't want to break your mama's back. Which is, I guess, a thing. Like, some girl made a post being like, this video is only for the guys. And I don't get it, right? Why is this video only for the guys? It's just a guy walking down the street. But, he's just walking on... He's just not walking on the cracks. And to be fair, I think I've done that. Not in, public, but definitely while I've been, late night when I'm, writing a paper. I would be, walking down the tiles, and I would be doing it in a specific order as not to walk on any of the cracks. So, yeah, I definitely feel like that's something I've done. What are some other ones? The bike one was really good, right? Another one of those ones with a good message. I liked the bike one. What else? The Blue Mountains. That was the one where they're like little hand people. That one was adorable. Pirates was good. Grannies. Oh, what was it? The one where I'll find it. I think it was called Camping was the episode's name. Yeah, the episode was called Camping. And it was the one where Bluey meets this his name was... What was his name? It's not LaCroix. It's something like that. And it's this foreign kid who only speaks French. So, right, they don't speak each other's language, but, you know, they're still playing. They have a whole... They capture the dad, who, you know, pretends to be a pig for them. But it's Bluey and this foreign kid, and it's just a really cute episode about how kids can play, even though they don't even speak each other's languages, right? It's like 3 steps removed from like a pigeon language thing, but that's exactly where pigeon languages come from, right? When you look at like histories of like different cultures interacting, pigeon languages are first found within children before anywhere else. So that's what that reminds me of. But then the ending where it's like, oh, will I ever see him again? Who knows? And then you see Bluey as like I think she's supposed to be like a teenager, maybe a little younger, maybe a little older. I'm not entirely sure. It definitely felt very teenage to me. Just because they plant a tree, they plant like a seed. And then we see like years later that seed grows into a tree. And yeah, Bluey goes to read under the tree. And hey, the kid's there again. Right? He wasn't called LaCroix, but he's something like that. That was adorable. That was an adorable episode. The Neighbors one. Oh my gosh, in the Neighbors one. Right, they're playing Neighborhood, and Bingo is stealing all the space to raise her farm animals. Meanwhile, the mom is, right, sent up her little nice home. But she's living next to the dad, who is just trying to be the most obnoxious neighbor in the world. And it's so fucking funny. The dad just trying to be obnoxious. Again, I love the parents' dynamics, right? The parents that just clearly love each other. And, right, I know they technically fall into, right, the buzzkill mom and the stupid dad. But, like, one of the things that it's definitely not true in modern Simpsons, but in early Simpsons, like the first, again, 8-9 seasons, one of the things is that, right, even though Marge was the nagging wife and Homer was the idiot husband, it was very clear that they loved each other, right? And even, like, there were moments where their marriage was tested, but even still, they loved each other. And that's, right, even though you've kind of got that set up with the parents here, no, they love each other, right? I don't question it for a second. And, right, even though you do get moments where, like, the mom is, like, looking at the dad, like, come on. Or, like, the one episode where, the dad yells at Bingo and kind of, like, makes her tear up. And the mom has to, like, make Bingo feel better and, like, get the dad to admit, right, that, right, what he did wasn't okay, but... Right, like him making his daughter, like, cry. Because she goes and hides, like, under the porch or something. It was a really sweet episode. So I've talked all these positives, and I'm sure there's, like, dozens of things I'm forgetting. I will admit, one of the things that did kind of... Because, right, it's 52 8-minute episodes. You'd think with, like, that short of an episode time, the show would very easily hold my attention span. But no, I actually found myself trailing off several times. Because this isn't we're just going to jingle your keys in front of your baby's face style show. Admittedly, sometimes my attention span did get the better of me, and I was like, there are better things I should probably be doing with my time right now. Or, hey, I just thought of something random. I'm going to go Google it real quick. That did happen several times while watching the show. Admittedly. I did definitely get distracted more than once while watching the show. That is probably a me thing, but that is also, right, like, the show is kind of... Not that it's bad, but, you know, I got distracted. Not that it's, like, yeah, not that it's boring, it's just... I don't know, I find myself easily distracted, I guess. So yeah, that was something, and it happened a few times. Usually, admittedly, it happened mostly late at night, but I don't know. I found, like, if I couldn't watch, like, if I watched, like, so many episodes in a row, I was just like, yeah, I need a break from this. Any other thing that stands out to me? Again, there's definitely one I'm forgetting. That was the one that I was like, oh, shit. Like, that was the one that was, like, close to making me, but I don't remember what that one was. But yeah, it's a great show. Oh, The Adventure. Oh my gosh. That I'm just looking through the episode list right now because this is all on Disney Plus. I should say that's where I'm watching it. I know there are some episodes that aren't on Disney Plus, and maybe I'll look that up after I finish it. But because it is curious to hear what episodes Disney wouldn't air. Like that's right. It's like reading a banned book. Like what episodes was Disney scared to air in the States? Because well, it's not a Disney show, but you know what I mean. Right? Disney has the rights to stream it here in America. Kind of like how they have... I guess Disney has the rights to stream My Hero Academia in Japan, which I find very funny. And I think they also have the rights to Bleach as well, which is also hilarious. Yeah, the one where they go on the adventure and it's Bingo, or Bluey, and one of the other kids, and they just go on this cute little adventure where they fight like a witch that turns people to stone, and you know, they alternate between playing the horsey and playing the princess. It was all very adorable. Very, right, capturing the childlike sense of imagination. It's just a good show. Right? Do I recommend it? I mean, I have 2 more seasons to go, admittedly. Do I agree with the quote that Bluey fucking slaps? Yes. But I definitely do have to put some more time into it, I guess. Right, there's still... I mean, I'm definitely interested enough. But yeah, for like, you know, I've seen a lot of cartoons over the years. Right? As a millennial, I've watched a lot of these cartoons meant for younger kids. And you know, I've never had a problem with it, right? I even like shows where I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna watch My Little Pony. You know, that's a kid's show. I've been like, you know, one day I'll probably end up watching it. To be fair, I've seen like a dozen episodes over the years. At just different points in my life. And all of the movies, but that's a whole other thing. But yeah, no, you know, anything can be... When something is good enough, it can be enjoyed by anybody. Shit. And I enjoyed this. I enjoy it. I don't know if I recommend... If you have kids, 1000%. If you have kids in that, like, right, like that, I don't know, I'm going to say 2 to 5 age range, they're going to absolutely love this show. Anywhere else, I mean, they probably will still... Again, I think it's a show that anyone could enjoy. I mean, again, I don't think... Well, you know, again, we're fixing the trauma. The trauma ends with us. So I don't know if a baby boomer would enjoy it. But, right, like, of that age of, like, the we're fixing the trauma generations. Or the trauma ends with us generations. I think there's something to enjoy here. Yeah. So, I guess that takes us to the outro. So, I do want to say in the outro, I do know that the next episode of The Owl House has leaked. For the future. I have not seen it. I will not see it. I think the official release is next week. I think it's a week from... It's either 1 or 2 weeks away. Oh my god, it's 2 weeks away, isn't it? Yeah, it's 2 weeks away. Shit. I only say that because that's gonna be a long 2 weeks avoiding spoilers. But yeah, I'm just gonna wait for the official release. You know, it fucking sucks when this thing happens to shows. I've been through Steven Universe. It happened multiple times for them. It fucking sucks when this happens. I know I have very complicated feelings on spoilers and like leaking is never a good thing. But yeah, it fucking sucks, you know. It fucking and what sucks is that Disney did it, right? Disney put the episode up early on iTunes. That's what fucking sucks. But yeah, so I'm gonna be avoiding spoilers for the time being, and you know I'll see it when it comes out in hopefully a few, or in like 2 weeks. Which yeah, it's gonna be a long 2 weeks. But God, am I excited for it. I've seen like 1 or 2 like still images Nothing that spoilery, admittedly. I haven't seen anything that's like, oh, yep, there it is. There gives away the entire episode. Oh, this is the final shot. No, I've seen small things. At least I'm assuming they're small things. Right? Like, I haven't seen anything that, like, blows my mind. Or that, I guess would compare to the ending of, Thanks to Them. So, yeah. So we will be talking about that, when the episode airs in 2 weeks. Other than that, I have been watching Kaleidoscope. I am 2 episodes in right now. Or, yeah, I think 2, maybe 3. I don't know. No, I have to look. The order I'm doing... So, Kaleidoscope, if you don't know, is a show that, like... The idea is that it was a show that can be watched in any order. So, like, each episode is named after a color. And you could watch the colors in any order. Except for white has to be the last one. So, like, you could watch, like, red, then yellow, then purple, or I think it's violet, then green, then pink, then blue, right? You can watch it, and then somebody else could start off with, like, pink, then go to violet, then go to yellow, right? You can watch it in any order. It's one of those, like, gimmicks. Kind of like Bandersnatch. Right? Because Netflix... You know what? I know Bandersnatch wasn't anything amazing, but I love when, like... one of the things I do like about Netflix is their willingness to do stupid gimmicks like that. Like, who else but Netflix would make something like Bandersnatch? Who else but Netflix would make something like Kaleidoscope? Right? A show where you can watch the episodes in almost any order. Again, with that one exception of that you have to watch white last. Yeah, who else but Netflix? But I think it's an interesting premise, and even without the interesting premise, I've still heard it's a good show. Right? That even without the weird premise, it's still a good show. I mean, it's got Giancarlo Esposito in it, who's fucking great. I loved him in Game Changer, and nothing else. That was a joke. Trying to get out of there. So yeah. It's a stupid joke, but I love the joke of referring to an actor by their most obscure works. Right? Oh, hey, you're, what was the one? Oh, you're Mark Damon from The Talented Mr. Ripley. Now that's far from Mark Damon's most obscure work. But, right, I love that fucking joke. Just, right, like taking a popular actor and then just being like, yep, here's you from this minor thing that nobody remembers. God, I fucking love that. Oh, hey, you're Carrie Fisher from Drop Dead Fred. I loved that movie. I don't know why that's the first one that came to my head. Of thinking, right, of an actor and their obscure, weird work. I actually do not like Drop Dead Fred. It's really fucking stupid. But I remember Carrie Fisher is in it. So, yeah. But yeah, no, Kaleidoscope, I'm right. My order right now, I watched Yellow first, and then Violet second. So that has been my order so far. I don't remember what's next. It's either orange or green, I don't remember. Because Netflix supposedly gives you a random order. However, from what I've seen, every post I've seen about it on like Twitter or TikTok has been, right, people have been giving their orders. And every order puts red, pink, and then white. It puts those 3 episodes last. Even though supposedly the only episode you do have to watch last is white. But I don't know. Maybe there are some exceptions. I'm sure there's somebody out there who got like red first. But no, every order I have seen puts red. Goes red, pink, white. Which I think part of me gets because according to like I want to say I saw somebody who put like the episodes in chronological order. And I want to say red takes place like the day after the heist. Because it's a heist show. And I think heist shows are fun. I know there was that Rick and Morty did that entire episode tearing down heist shows. Or heist movies. You know, that's just fucking Rick and Morty. I still think heists are fun. Even if they're predictable, they're still fun. Or I guess formulaic. Predictable and formulaic. Still fun. Doesn't matter, had fun. And yeah, it's a fun show. So yeah, So yeah, I'm enjoying it. You know, I'm enjoying it. It's a good to start off the year. You know, it's a good show. I definitely you know, I keep a list of all the games I play, right? Well, yeah, more or less. And I really should keep a list of all the shows I watched, because after I did the in review last week, I'm like, I didn't actually end up looking it up, but I'm like 50% sure Invincible came out in 2021. And I must have just forgotten to talk about it in 2021, because I didn't have it in my notes for 2021. And because of that, I was like, oh, it must have come out in 2022. I'm pretty sure it came out. I'm like 50% sure. And the only reason I'm not 100% is just because I didn't bother looking it up. So, yeah. So I really should keep a list of everything I watch. I mean, I keep a list of every game I played. Right now, there's only 2 games on it. Sports Story and Planet Coaster. Which I don't know if I said, I've never played Planet Coaster. I've never played Planet Coaster, and I've never played City Skylines. I've also never played SimCity. I did play, that amusement park game that I literally just said like the name of like an hour ago, and now I've completely forgotten. Roller Coaster Tycoon? Yeah, Roller Coaster Tycoon. I did play Roller Coaster Tycoon back in the day. I played both the original and the third one. But I'd never played SimCity. I've never played SimCity. Any of them. Right? The 2014 one, the original one, the SNES one that is partially owned by Nintendo. Yeah, I've never played them. I played Thrillville. I remember playing that on the Wii. Yeah, there's a fucking nostalgia for you. Thrillville. Do you remember that game on the Wii? Thrillville. Off the rails. We might have won that, but we also might have totally lost that. It was pretty close between us and Purple. We lost. Yeah. Purple came back at the end and won it from us. I was really hoping we get ruler rank by the end of the night, but I'm out of stuff to talk about. Yeah. If we had won like 1 or 2 more matches, maybe. Honestly, the pre-Splatfest went pretty well for me. Right, I won a fair few matches. Not an amazing amount, but a fair few. We'll do one more. I'll do one more match, and we'll see how that all plays out. But then I'm calling it. Nice to use the Splooshomatic again. It's been a while. But I saw I was really close to leveling it up, to getting the next rank with it. And I was like, yeah, I should really do that. Still don't love the Ultra Stamp. It really is not. I don't know. Admittedly, I like it more than the Vacuum. But no. Honestly, I definitely forget about my specials more often than not. So, which is totally a me thing, right? It's one of the reasons why I'll never be amazing at these games. Because, you know, I kind of forget to use my specials immediately. Or, like, I'll wait for the right scenario and then just die before the right scenario ever comes. But at least with missiles, you can just use missiles at any time. Killer Whale 3.0, there's usually always a good time to use Killer Whale 3.0. Or 2.0 or whatever it is. 2.5. I don't remember. Did I try any weird foods recently? No. No, I guess I didn't. I thought I might have, but I can't think of anything. Yeah, no, I can't think. I've definitely. Did I talk about gingerbread Kit Kats? They were okay. You know, I definitely wouldn't. Unlike the fucking fruitcake Mountain Dew that I still haven't even gotten close to doing yet, I at least did finish off all the gingerbread Kit Kats between me and my roommates. Yeah, I don't think I really had anything interesting. I haven't been playing Pokemon. I mean, really, I really need to do the last gym leaders because I want to have 6-star raids. You have to do all to get 6-star raids. You have to do all the gym leaders again. Then you have to compete in the school tournament, and then you unlock 6 stars. Or then I think you have to do a bunch of 5-star raids. But to be fair, I think I've done enough. Maybe, hopefully. Of course, it might be that only after you get to that point can you do enough 5-star raids. That might also be a thing. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But I really do want to do that. But I've also... part of me is, like, kind of done. Like, I did a few shiny hunts. All of them unsuccessful. I have... I have not... Getting the shiny charm definitely has not... It has not felt like it's increased my odds of getting shinies. At least so far, right? I haven't had any luck. But I definitely... Right, it's gotten to the point... I did breed a few more competitive Pokemon... Not competitive, raid Pokemon. I bred both an Armarouge and a Ceruledge. The Ceruledge is for general use. The Armarouge was for the Cinderace raid specifically, that I did not participate in. Right? Like, they serve their specific purposes. But, yeah, no, the problem is that it's gotten to the... Where, like, okay, I've done the Pokedex, so now the only Pokemon I can get are Pokemon for competitive or for terror raids. And what do I use those Pokemon for? Playing more competitive and for more terror raids. Right? It's become cyclical at this point. And because of that, I feel less motivated to play. Does that make sense? Right? Like, I'm playing to get more Pokemon to then get more... Right? To do more raids to get more Pokemon. Right? It's a circle. And I know, right, like, what we're doing right now in Splatoon is technically just a circle. Right? I'm playing these weapons to just do it. But I don't play competitive Pokemon that much. So, right, I don't really see much of a use for it. Right? Because I'm not good at competitive Pokemon. I mean, I don't even remember all the types. So, part of me doesn't really see a reason. Sure, having Iron Hands, Armarouge, and Ceruledge will help out a lot in terror raids. But that doesn't really mean much. Look at him. I love the green with the red on Shiver. That looks great. I love the color of purple they used for Frey. And Big Man is Big Man. I guess I did not realize this, but I guess Big Man is Brazilian coded, right? I guess he's like some of the like slang he uses and some of the other stuff hints that he's Brazilian. And I did not pick up on that. Like, Frey is... I'm pretty sure she's supposed to be Indian, right? Like, there are references to Hinduism in her text entries. And, like, I definitely see it. A big man as Brazilian? No, I completely missed that. But yeah, I guess that is the case. He is Brazilian coded. And I just think that's neat, right? I mean, mainly because, again, he is Stingray. But yeah, it's just it's those little details that, like, I definitely didn't pick up on. I do like them, though. Honestly, the more time we spend with them, the more I do like them. So there is something I was curious about. So I think it's... If we go into photo mode... If we set the scene... Where is it? Is it an amiibo photo thing? Do I have a Splatoon amiibo anyways? Give me a second, let me see what I can find. It's dusty as hell. Oh, wait. Oh, I thought this amiibo was registered. I had the costume. How do we get out of here? I had the costume in Splatoon 2. So dusty. Yeah, Hilda. Oh, do we just get all the outfit? Sure. Okay, we just got all the outfit pieces. Again, because I remember using the costume on the Splatfest. Okay, freshest fits. Oh, wait. We might have just saved a freshest fit. Taking photos with Amiibo. There's some way, from what I understand, to, like, take a photo on the stage. Because in the original Splatoon... No, maybe it was Splatoon 2 where you could take a photo on the stage. I know in the original Splatoon, you could use the Callie and Marie amiibos to recreate the Splatfest and, like, the concert and everything. And then that wasn't in Splatoon 2 for some reason. But I think you could use the amiibos to take photos on the stage or something like that. It was something like that. Okay, I can't even see myself. How do you... No, that's not what I want to do. I know there's some way to, like, right, like, even if it's just get up there. Zoom, I don't know. I swear there was something in this newest update about taking photos on the stage with the idols. I swear that was a thing. And I was curious about it. I love how we've got Gear 1 and Gear 2, but they don't do anything. I don't know. I swear there was something. I clearly don't know how to do it. Maybe it only is during the first half of the Splatfest. I don't know. I swear I remember reading something about that. Okay, no. I swear there was something about, like, I swear I remember reading in the Chill Season update something about a photo. I guess not. I guess not. Okay, I've been going way longer. That was just me trying to figure that out. Here's to Team Sweet winning the Splatfest. I do not think we will. Like, just straight up, I don't know. We've done okay, but I don't know. I could see Team Spicy winning it, sadly. We were ahead at halftime, which was nice. You know, it's always good to be ahead at halftime. But we'll see. I'll take 2 of these. That's an NES box, right? Maybe it's an SNES box. I kind of don't know. Locker, sure. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see how it all turns out. I guess let's look at some art. Yeah, no, I have no regrets joining Team Sweet. Oh, this one was great. Every villain is Lemons. With, what's his name from 2? Maybe I have to use one of the Callie and Maria amiibos. I didn't even think about that. Or even one of the... Or even What's-Her-Face and What's-Her-Face? Pearl and Marina. I didn't even think about that. But no, I don't think I do not think Team Sour is winning this. From what I heard from the first round, Sour, right? Like I didn't have a problem coming across Team Sour people, but it feels like everybody else did. So yeah. So it looks like that's where we're ending off for today. We will be back next week. I hope to do Pokemon at some point, but I make no promises. But we will be back next week. More in chat, more Blue. I guarantee you I'll probably be finished with the 2nd season. Again, they're not long episodes. It's so easy to binge Bluey. Kind of redonkulous. I've also been working on the Ghost of Molly McGee. I'll finish it at some point. I promise I'll finish it at some point. And then in 2 weeks we got... I'm so excited for more Owl House. I'm so excited. But yeah, until then, I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Until next time, peace.